Good morning, everybody. Excuse me. Perfect timing. Get a frog in my throat as soon as I unmute. All right. Welcome, Friday team call. Glad to see you all on. Let's get this going. I'm trying to do something new here today. Let me see if I can. Got Stacy Mobile. All right.
I love her hat. Stacy always wears the best hats. I'm so glad you unveiled yourself. For those of you hiding yourself, unveil yourself. We love to see your smiles.
All right, here we go, gang. Tech is booming this morning. Welcome to Friday team call. Let's get this rolling. Got a great call lined up for you. Let's hit some announcements. Month of September, so we had obviously the combined call with Mank Pogue last week, and so we didn't do leaderboards, so let's go ahead and hit those really quick. Let me move some screens around here so I can see what's going on. All right, so top 10 producers. This was for the agency across the board. So we had number 10, Atrice Keys, $15,597, part of the Better Agency. Sydney Lee, top 10, $17,487, part of the Dinwiddie Agency. Jenny Gray, part of the Better Agency at $22,670. Wendy Cox, part of the Better Agency, $22,706. Donna Bates, looking at that, breaking the 20K. Great job, Donna. Part of the Menefee Agency, $22,759. Stacy Love coming in, just edging out her mentor at $24,651 for the month. Mr. Spencer Cushion, $25,503. Guys, really, this team put up some awesome numbers. Really, congratulations to all of you. Adam Patterson, part of the Better Organization, $26,909. Stella Dinwiddie, part of the famous Dinwiddie Agency, $30,340. Leading from the front, gang. That is a monster month. Beat out by a new writer, though, Miss Sylvia Collins, part of the Better Agency. Now, new writers with asterisks. She's a new writer, but she does have some experience in the industry. So for those of you who are saying, gosh, I was new and I didn't come anywhere close to that, it's okay. Don't be too hard on yourself. Rumor has it she has had a little bit of experience, so probably knows a little bit more right out of the gate than most of us did. But $37,629. Gang, that is that's an awesome start to a career here in this business. Moving on, top producers and apps, top 10. Sydney Lee, 14 applications. Sylvia Collins, 14 applications. Lionel Anderson, 19 applications. Spencer came in at 19 applications. Jenny Gray, 21 applications. Wendy Cox, 21 applications. Donna Bates, 22 applications. Adam Patterson, 23 applications. Stacy Love, 29 applications. But there can be only one number one, which would be Miss Stella Dinwiddie, meaning she reclaims her trophy. The golden chicken goes to Stella Dinwiddie for the month of September. That was a very tight race all the way down to the end. I believe that was some Friday turn-in that probably snagged that hardware. I thought we were going to have to split a chicken here, was what it looked like was going to happen. I was got to like send halves of chicken to each of you. So
close. It was so close.
So close that came down to the wire, and that was a hard-fought race. So.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Now, no bitterness, because guess what? We reset the clock, and you now have an opportunity to earn October's golden chicken. So do not despair. There's still, even despite the golden chicken shortage that I didn't realize existed until I started ordering these, we will still find more chickens. So take heart and go after it. So, all right, gang, moving on. Top producer. Now, this is going back to weekly, which is also monthly because this is the first week of the month. Obviously, we'll do top 10 overall for the hierarchy. We had Chad Semper, $3,213, part of the Better Agency. Mark Lopez, $3,605. Sylvia Collins, $3,726. Stephanie Stubbs, $4,216. Again, all those part of the Better Agency. Stacy Love, leading from the front, $4,655. Part of the Menefee hierarchy. Gary Bullard, part of the Better Agency, $5,310. Spencer Cushion, also, as always, leading from the front, $5,453. Sydney Lee coming in strong, $7,051. Part of the Dinwiddie Agency. Tanya Hoffman, part of the Better Agency, $7,500. And as always, leading from the front, the one, the only Miss Stella Dinwiddie, $8,419. What a monster week. And knowing Stella, that is probably not even the business for the week, because she probably has a meeting or two left for the day. For those of you who are new, we do have till Friday midnight Eastern to get business turned in. So these are pulled as of late last night or early this morning. So and if you feel like your numbers are off, there's a good chance that could be why as well, if you turn any business in this morning. Moving on, app counts. So we have Mark Lopez, 2 applications. Sylvia Collins, 2 applications. Sydney Lee, 2 applications. Gary Bullard, 3 applications. Stephanie Stubb at 4 applications. Stacy Love at 4 applications. Spencer Cushion at 5. We have a 3-way tie for the app count lead for the week. Chad Semper, Gary Bullard, and Stella Dinwiddie, all with 6 applications. Base shop so far, this is month to date. So John Paul Vetter, $44,853. Dinwiddie base shop, $15,471. And my base at $10,451. App count, Vetter leading at 35. Menefee base shop coming in number 2 with 10 apps, and Dinwiddie agency with 8 apps so far on the month. Quilty digital lead orders. Those of you who don't have access to Switchboard yet, keep in mind, if you set up one of these, this moves you up in the what we say, queue. Let's say they move you up in the queue to get your Switchboard turned on. They are, and I'm hearing more and more, they're moving pretty quickly through getting people onboarded to Switchboard. And so they, you know, I guess it's 2 sides to this conversation. One is set up an SLO, a standing lead order, and that will move you up. But if you're not at that place yet, take heart. Switchboard is getting activated for everybody. So that will be in the works. S'mores, guys, part of our bonus. For those of you who are brand new and wondering, how can I give myself a raise? How can I come in here and take advantage of not only just the opportunity to go out and earn a great income, but increase that income? The company created a path to accelerate your growth and give yourself a raise. So 15% raise in the first 3 months. Normally that would take you 6 months. So take advantage of that with bonuses on top of that. Jeremy Minor training, guys, this is ongoing. So if you missed either the first or second week, go back and listen to that. I'm going to pause here because, you know, I want to share with everybody. Number one, I signed up for the Jeremy Minor training, and it's top shelf. I mean, it really is very well put together. The training is just, I mean, it's spectacular. And it's hard to put into words. I need to finish my training, so maybe I can communicate a little bit better how good it is. But it is really good stuff. But guys, you get a very good taste of this for free just by plugging into these calls. So take advantage of this resource. Get in, and you know, here's the thing I think I see way too many times, and it's a natural human instinct. We have this mindset that I'm not going to invest time or money into getting better until I get better. You know, it's just kind of this backwards thinking. I'm going to figure this out so I can go out and sell and make money so I can afford to do a program like this. That's just not how it works. You have to invest in yourself and in your business, and maybe say, you know what, I'm going to be struggling. I'm brand new, just getting started. I can't do the program, even though they discounted by 90%. That's okay. At least go to the free stuff and get yourself some, some advancement down the track so you can invest in stuff like this. But I would strongly encourage, in fact, I would challenge anybody that has the mindset that I have to I have to earn the money, I have to go out and sell and make it before I can afford it. Guys, this is the thing that will help you afford not only programs like this, but infinitely more. So some testimonials. The call yesterday, Ayers was talking about a person in the Pritchett agency who has actually been around for quite a while. My understanding is probably a year or two, maybe longer, and never really written more than 8 to 10,000 on their highest month. And that's, again, their high watermark. Probably most months not quite that much, but $8,000 to $10,000 written. And after going through, signed up right out of conference, saw the value, signed up for it, made the investment in themselves, and in the month of September submitted $31,000 of premium. So this course paid back that agent multiple times over in a 30-day period. So, I love the call that we had on Wednesday, kind of a little bit different, an agent talking about trying to buy leads and how she sold her kitchen table and sold her couch. But it's that same concept. I can't afford it. Well, we're living in one of the most prosperous nations in the world, and you probably have got stuff sitting around your house that, either you don't use, or even if you do use it, you could temporarily do without it until you can invest back into your business, into your training. So, guys, I'm spending a little bit of time on this, but this, I firmly believe, and I would go beyond believe. I think it's proven. You invest in something like this. We got mutes coming off. All right, invest in something like this, and you will pay yourself back in multiples. So take heed of that and take that advice. This is the outline. So again, so what I love about what he's doing, and this is with the free training, the training he is actually going through. Okay, here's how I would say this. Here's the verbiage that you have, and here's how we do it with tonality. Here's how we do that with delivering. He's going to go through. They are posting these recordings on HQ, so go back, listen to recordings. But I would be part of this live. Be part of this live, and then go back and listen to the recordings just to build on what you're hearing. Okay, guys. So this is the outline. You can find that outline on HQ as well. Champions Cup. That program, or that contest rather, is going through the end of the year. Plenty of time to get involved with that. I'm going to spend a lot of time on the rules and qualifications, all that, but that's all available on HQ. Vacations, trips to the Super Bowl, hanging out with the founders, fun times. Foresters is still doing their lead credit. So if you are working towards, want to become certified, trying to think of the term, certified for debt-free life, talk to your upline, number one, make sure you're ready to take on that. But once you do, you can earn lead credit by doing debt-free life policies, and earn. Foresters is one of our providers for that. Razor Ridge, one of our hottest new lead sources, and you can leverage that and turn that into more business. Symmetry Fall Blitz, guys, I'm excited when they rolled this out the other day. These events are huge. So for those of you who are building teams, take note of these dates, locations, guys. It has been proven over the 12-year history of our company that if you drive traffic to these events, and they are working hard to make sure that we cover the country. So regardless of where you are recruiting, or maybe you see some areas on here where you're like, you're thinking, you know what, I know somebody there, or maybe I feel like I want to build a team there. Maybe we need to find somewhere sunny and warm that you want to start recruiting to, and then have a reason to go visit there often. Fort Lauderdale, Los Angeles. We've got some great locations, Jacksonville, or maybe just come visit us in the heartland. I know I will be at St. Louis. So if you have some folks that, you want to drive to that, would love to connect with people. Also Fayetteville, Arkansas, potentially Little Rock. I'm working on that schedule right now. And and then there'll probably be more of these that I work my way around to, but definitely those. But take a look at your area, at, any of these that within driving distance, guys, 4 or 5 hours, even if it's a long drive, get yourself there and bring some people with you. Drive some people to those meetings. This is how you start plugging into exponential growth. You use the tools of the system. Guys, this is part of the system. Marshall Whalen, #1 agency in this company, built his entire agency around this strategy right here, getting butts in seats. And that's what all Marshall will tell you. He never trained anybody. He never tried to create any whiz bang, drip campaigns. Marshall, if those of you who met him, those of you who hadn't, he's a West Virginia good old boy that just loves people, but doesn't really know much about technology, and doesn't really want to know much about technology. So they told him, how you build a team is you get people around the system, and he took that to heart and did exactly that, and drove people to meetings. That's all he did. So you really don't have to make this thing any more complicated than that. So take a look at that list, guys. MyQuility, guys, this is such a huge program. I was looking up something, car rental the other day, seeing $300-400 quotes for a weekend rental, and then came across one for like $150. Travel, dining out, all things that we normally do, save money on that. Make sure, if you're brand new, you're just getting into the company, one of the first things you can do, sign up for this, absolutely free to you. And guess what? Absolutely free to your clients. So this is a great, intro to your friends and family you want to introduce to the business, but you don't want to come across the stereotypical insurance person. Hook them up with MyQuility. There's nothing more out of the stereotype than giving them something free that will actually benefit them and allow them to live life to the fullest for less. And can't wait to see several of you in Branson. Will be the last week that we'll be putting this up, because next week I'll be seeing some of you in person. So excited to make that connection. So I'm going to stop this screen share here, and I'm going to take a quick pause here for any announcements from any of our team leads. And while you are doing that, I realize I left my notebook on the other table. So I'm going to go ahead and mute, go grab that real quick, and let those of you who want to pop on and give some shout outs.
All right, I'll go first. I would love you all to meet Jason Hester, that you can see unveiled there. Look at him waving. This guy is awesome. So I just talked to him last night. And he is originally from Michigan, but his wife is a traveling nurse. And here's what's really cool about this opportunity, as most of you who are seasoned know, is one of his questions was, well, my wife travels to different states. So am I able to conduct business like from different states? And I'm like, absolutely. I can see Stacy shaking her head. Yeah. And which is really cool, because Jason's background, he owned a construction company. He's painting company. He's like, he understands many of the concepts of just running a business. And I'm super excited to have this strong leader join our forces here. He's not licensed yet. He's going to get his license. And one thing I would just love to tell all of you is that, or as Casey would say, all of y'all's, is to, if you were in the process of getting your license, get it done, like get it taken care of, because insurance season is here. Oh my gosh, it is so strong right now. There are so many people out there wanting our help. And so I'm just super duper excited about that. And I'm really grateful to be here.
Awesome. Welcome, Jason.
And just another quick reminder about our Zoom rooms. We've had some packed out Zoom rooms this week. It's always a lot of fun. Every now and then we'll take a break and, say, watch my cat flash everyone on screen, which is always entertaining. But you're always welcome to join us, even if you're working on something else, making dials. If you're not running appointments on Zoom, we'd love to have your company.
Awesome. Thank you, Stacy and Stella, for opening those up. That is such a valuable resource. I love that, Stella. That is awesome.
Isn't that awesome? This was on my front doorstep last night, Jim. I have a sneaky feeling that this traveled all the way from New Jersey. You have something to say about that, Jim?
Oh, he just disappeared. He's hiding.
Yeah, guilty as charged. She's going to be holding that finger up a lot. We're in the fourth quarter here of the year, and in the middle of the insurance season, and winners win in the fourth quarter. So hopefully we'll be using that finger a lot.
Nice.
Jim, sorry. I feel like that was a dig at my Browns.
What happened?
I feel like that was a dig at my Cleveland Browns.
There's no dig there. That's a pink #1 finger. That is neutral. That is a neutral finger.
Chris, I think that we should have our own fantasy football kind of competition, and make it fun with something. I think that we should talk about that later. That'd be fun.
We'll come up with something that could be fun. That could be fun. Jim is Jim is responsible for the inspiration for the Golden Chicken Award. He may be creating our next round of awards here with the big foam finger. We'll have to figure out what we're going to attach to that. So awesome. Jim, you're going to be now director of awards and recognitions for the Menefee Hierarchy Agency. So congratulations on your new title. All right, guys. So we have fun and we get stuff done. So let's get some stuff done. And I'm excited to bring on Stella to help me this morning. And as I was talking about, guys, there are 2 trainings going on that right now will literally take you from wherever you're at. And I post this on Career, and I mean this, that if you're a brand new agent, it will take you up to a high performing agent. If you're already a high performing agent, it will take you up to the next level, to an expert. If you're an expert, it will take you up to the top of the company. And those 2 trainings are, I've already touched on and hit pretty hard on Jeremy Minor. And again, that's not hyperbole. It's that level of training that he's putting out is that high of a quality of training. The other one is the special series that the Pogue Agency is doing on Thursday with the quality retirement team, and that is the FIF reset. But the thing about that is, they're going through it in detail and doing a good job of kind of laying the foundation of why it's important. But one of the things that I think for all of us, we see it, we love the idea, we love the concept, and but man, coming out of conference, there's a bunch of new tools that have been thrown at us. And so and I get it, because I'm getting a lot of questions like, hey, where do I find this? And I'm having to say, you know what, I know it's in HQ, I'm struggling a little bit myself right now to try to remember where everything's at, because a lot of stuff's moving around and getting updated, and which is a great thing, but we're all learning together. So one of the things I thought we could do this morning is walk through the FIF reset, actually share with you how that works. And we're actually going to do a reset with Stella, and she's going to be the client. I'm going to walk through that process with you. Let me get my screen share popped up here, and we will go through that. So we're going to do a couple things. I'm going to actually show you where to find it on HQ, make it super easy for you to get to. And again, those questions like, okay, where do they put that? Where do I find it? They have been working on that, and they've made it pretty easy to find now. So, but you know, let me go ahead and actually pull that up. Let me just go ahead and pull that up. So when you log in HQ, this is your home screen, menu over here on the left side. If you're brand new and you don't know insurance from a hole in the ground, this is where everything is found, right here. This menu will take you just about anywhere in the company. If you want the FIF reset form, what is FIF? FIF is the financial information form. Come down to my clients, drop that menu down. Down here, you see new FIF. This is where you start that process, and you can pull up the FIF. Now, if you're working a lead, you'll be able to pop that open and find that person, and a lot of that data is going to be input for you. I'm going to go ahead and add a new lead. We're going to talk to a client, Stella Dinwiddie, this morning. No, I'm just joking. Stella's going to be our client extraordinaire, and we're going to go through. You know, you fill out the client's information. You will want to do this because what this is doing is this is connecting you with an expert. Okay, so they're going to need as much data as you can send to them to be able to not only reach out to the client, schedule the appointments or the follow-ups, the information, all that stuff, but they're going to need this they're going to need this data to be able to put the cases together. And that's what we're talking about with FIF. And so this is where I'm going to pause here for a moment and just kind of talk about this process, because guys in this business, and a lot of times when I'm interviewing somebody new and they're asking, well, what goes into training, and, what goes into learning? And I tell people all the time, look, training is ongoing. Training never stops. And if you think about it, there's a reason why. That is because, number one, we're brokers. And so we've got, I've heard different numbers, anywhere from 30 to 40 up to 70 different companies we work with. Now, we don't sell all of those. In fact, we only sell a small fraction of those. But even with the ones that we do, the 10 or so that 8 to 10 that we do, each one of those companies has anywhere from 8 to 10 products. So you're talking about 10 companies with 10 products. Guys, that's 100 different products, 100 different possibilities. And I'm just kind of ballparking that number because it's probably a lot more than that. The reality is, and this is why I'm sharing this, is it's going to be a long time before you become a broad-based expert, meaning not just in one discipline of this business. It's going to take you a long time to learn all the products, all the companies. The good news is, and this is why we share this, is you don't have to know that as a new person to be able to make money in this business. In fact, the beauty of this business is you really don't have to know anything to be able to be successful and help people. For two reasons. One, we make our training process very simple. It's a crawl, walk, run process. So we're not going to throw you in the deep end of the pool right out of the gate. But number two, we're going to focus on the things that we know to be very, very profitable for you, but very helpful for the client, and things that people need the most. So that's where you see a lot of our conversations start around a specific product like mortgage protection or final expense. And then we build out into other stuff. But this is a way that you can actually, as a brand new agent, tap in to that entire other suite of 70 other companies with 10 to 20 products with each company. You can literally tap into somewhere about 500 to 1,000 other products just by using this, and things that you're not even licensed for, gang. That's the fun thing about this. Because with this, you will come across people who maybe have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in liquid assets, meaning they're in the market, and we're not licensed for that. It takes a Series 6, 63, Series 7, depending on your state, some other licensure to be able to sell or manage money that's in the market. And we don't have any of that. However, we do have people that do. And they work with us. And anybody that you send to them, they keep as our client and help manage and drive business back to us. So enough about that. Again, we want to make this process super simple for you. So let's talk about a couple things. So when we're in the conversation, meeting with the client, how do we get to FIF? Because in reality, this is, we've got to take care of the need that we're talking to them about first. So if we're on a mortgage protection call, we have to stay focused on mortgage protection. But how are we uncovering some of this other data? So we're going to talk about that here briefly. As Stella, you can go ahead and mute. So as we're having a conversation, Stella, when I'm going through and finding out information from you, I'm going to try to, and again, I'm still learning this, so I'm going to try to do a little Jeremy Minor NEPQ questioning here. But as we're going through, we're going to uncover potential assets within, within that client's portfolio. And two things, one, we kind of, as they were talking about the training yesterday, we need to know what that is so we can kind of address it, and kind of like the dumbed down version, we got to name the puppy. We kind of got to give it a reason to exist and not to shoot us down at the end when they try to come back on us and say, well, I could just rely on my retirement to pay off my debt. We got to take that off the table, because money can't do two jobs. It's either retirement or it's paying off debt. So as I were going through, as I'm going through conversation with you, Stella, I might ask you a question, and this is, what our old form we call find the money. Stella, so help me out here. Help me understand something. If something were to happen to you, does the family have anything else that they can rely on to, kind of help replace your income? I mean, like, I don't know, 401ks, IRAs, any money and savings, anything that they could, is there anything that they could tap into that would help them be able to survive financially?
Well, we have some, but that's meant for our retirement. But yeah, we each have a 401k, and there's a little bit of pension for my husband, and then we got a little money in the bank. So I mean, we have some stuff out there.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. And like you said, for retirement, that's smart. But and we don't want to do this, but Stella, if they were forced to, I mean, no other options, if they had to tap into that, like 401ks, roughly how much are we talking? I mean, just ballpark. I know it changes every day, but how much would they have there that they could, possibly tap into?
Yeah, well, I think my husband has around 100,000 in PERS
Okay.
through the employee union, and then I have about 148,000 in my 401k. I think the last time I looked, but it's kind of dropped. The market's been kind of crazy. And then in our savings right now, I don't know, about 25,000. And I know we have some stuff elsewhere, but I'd have to pull it because it's a lot of paperwork.
Sure. Yeah, a lot to manage there. I can appreciate that. So, well, I mean, that's at least there's something there. But obviously, like you said, I mean, that's for future, that's retirement, right?
Right.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to pause here, guys, kind of out of roll. So a couple different ways to handle this. One, for those of us who maybe aren't fast typers, or we have trouble typing and thinking and talking all at the same time, I'd be taking these all down in notes. And as you go back into, at the end of the call, you could be adding this stuff in. Now, if you're somebody that's nimble on your feet, you can type and talk and think and do all that. Then we would be coming in here as they are talking, as she's telling me, okay, so we've got, I've got a 401k, so 148,000, and I'm not going to necessarily go into some of this other stuff right now, because again, we're talking about this being a mortgage protection program. So I don't want to get off into the weeds here, but if I need to start collecting some of this data, I can go ahead and start typing this in. But as I gather this, and she says, I have 148,000. We also have an IRA for another 100,000. So I'm going to be, popping that in. Look, all this stuff's right here. So if they're a public employee, a 403, a 457, maybe they don't know what it's in. So we're just going to say investments. She said, I really don't know what's in. I know we got 100,000. It's in something. I'm not sure what it is. Okay, no problem. Okay, we got 100,000 there. Okay, no problem. And I'm just going to be recording this stuff, either on paper and then transferring it over later, or again, as I'm going through. But the big thing is I want the data that I'm collecting right now from Stella is, again, I just said we don't want to touch it, but God forbid something will happen. They have to fall back on something. I'm giving a reason why I need this data. Now, again, this gives us some data points for later on when we're going to swing back into this conversation. But we don't want to jump on that now. She says, I've got $1 million. Don't, drop your pen and faint on your desk. And, oh gosh, I've got something to work with here. I got $1 million. I need to pivot right into retirement. No, we're here for mortgage protection. We're going to take care of mortgage protection. Once we get that done, we're going to circle back in. And here's how we circle back in. This is what I love about the way they set this up. So let's say we're filling this out. She says, okay, we also have savings accounts. Okay, great, savings. And we have about 25K. Okay. And I'm collecting this data, guys. I'm just putting it in. Now, at the end, what I love about this is when I save this information. Okay, so that's all in there. And let's just keep it focused right now on the FIF, because we'll swing into debt-free life in a minute. Let's focus on this. I put all this information in. When I hit results give me the cue to ask, has your current, this is a script. I don't have to think about what my transition is going to be. Has your current advisor shown you what your income gap will be when you retire?
Ask me that. Ask me that question, if you don't mind, please.
No, that's, yeah. And again, as best as I can in my Jeremy Minor NEPQ. So Stella, help me out. I mean, we were talking earlier and this question just came to mind, but has your current advisor shown you what your income gap will actually look like when you retire?
We haven't even really looked at that. We talk about it, but we don't have like a financial advisor. My husband manages the, where it gets spread out into. Okay. I don't really do any of that.
So out of roll, you saw me click no, because again, this leads you through the process. So I click no, and guess what? So Stella, I don't want to assume, but is it better to find out what that gap is now, or just wait till we retire?
Well, no one's really ever asked me that. So, but I've thought about it, I guess. Yeah, we'd probably like to know now. I don't want to wait until we retire and get surprised. I think that we're set up pretty good. feels like we got a lot in place. So, but I'm hearing, stuff from people that you got to have, at least, 3 million to retire. So, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess, it'd be good to look at now.
Yeah, certainly. I can appreciate that. Well, Stella, you just said something that kind of made me stop and think. We actually have an entire division solely based on education around retirement. Our Quilty financial advisors are subject matter experts, and they can educate you on retirement accounts and help you fill in any gaps you might have. You can do whatever you want with the information, but I know you're going to be happy with the information. They've helped out so many of my clients. You know what? Does it make sense? Let's take a look at the calendar and see if they might have any availability that matches up with yours.
Okay, sure.
Guys, that's it. That's the process. That's why 5 minutes can literally make you, like Andrew Jimenez on the call last week. Deposit for his agent for something like $15,000, deposit for the upline for another 10, deposit for him for another 20,000, all off somebody taking 5 minutes to do this right here.
Yeah, can I add something real quick, Chris?
Yeah.
Sydney and Greg hailed an amazing call yesterday. Those two knocked it out of the ballpark. And one of the things that I wrote 2 pages of notes from them, but one of them that really stuck with me that I love that Sydney said, and big shout out to you, girl, is she told us all, write this down. I am a professional problem solver. I am a professional problem solver. And that's essentially what you're doing right here is you're looking for those problems and then we solve it. And the beautiful, I mean, we can get all excited about the commissions and all of that. And that's, part of us making a living in what we do. But, the bigger piece of it too is being able to help these people. Like just a quick example, a client that I helped 2 years ago, we were revising his policies and I pulled out his old paperwork that I had. And I seem to recall back when I talked with him, he had like 300,000, he told me, in 401k, but I was new and nervous. I didn't know how to approach that. And it just wasn't the right time because, I was always taught, you don't talk about that. You first, you ask about it, you write it down, you help them with mortgage protection, and you leave that alone and you wait until after you help them and come back like you said, hey, I remember you telling me. And that's what Sydney said yesterday, is wait until the end and then you bring it back up. I remember you, voicing a concern, what if we were able to, and you kind of went to questions like you said. But this guy that I had 2 years ago, I'm on the phone with him and I said, hey, how's everything else going? I remember you had a 401k. How's that performing for you? And he told me he's lost about 40,000. It's a lot of money. And he's kind of retirement age. He's about my age, late 50s. I'm 56. So I'm not really late 50s, but anyways. And he said, I said, well, and I kind of went through some of these similar questions of like, well, is it protected, from market downturn? Is it important for you to, to stop the bleeding, so to speak, and he's like, yeah, actually I've been thinking about it and wanted to get, I was thinking, I was going to see somebody to help me with it. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm not going to say his name. I'll pretend like his name is Bob. I said, oh my gosh, Bob. I said, I work with a team of experts who they can give you a no obligation complimentary consultation. And you can just, see what you like out of it. These guys are amazing. I actually have one on my team that he used to be a financial planner. He used to work for HUD. This is Greg. And I told him about it. And I said, would you like me to give him a call? And he's like, sure. I said, you know what? Let's try and see him right now. And just because I know Greg, I got a 3-way call. Actually, I couldn't reach him. I texted him and then literally within 10 minutes, Greg called him back and made an appointment. They've met twice. And this last week, they signed an application for, they're going to move over part of his 401k you know, into an annuity. And it's beautiful because he's helped him. Like now this guy doesn't have, my client, he doesn't have to worry about losing more to the market right now, especially in his retirement years. Like what a blessing is that to help somebody in that manner. And in turn, you know, it's going to be, you know, a nice bonus. And I didn't have to do all that legwork. I just asked a few questions. So I just really wanted to put that out there, and especially with what Greg and Sydney did yesterday, like they were phenomenal.
Yeah, that's excellent. And you know, the beautiful thing about it is what we're trying to show everybody is incorporate this into your process. It is a simple process. Hang on a second, I'm trying to hide windows. Simple process. So let me go clear out because there's another scenario that we can set up here. So same thing, Stella, we're going through just gathering some information. So part of our information gathering process is we want to obviously go through the clients, income, expenses. But as we look at expenses, maybe we kind of start picking up on the fact that, hey, there's some stuff going on here. So Stella, we're here for mortgage protection. Tell me again, how much is your mortgage payment?
It's about $1,400.
Okay. And Stella, are you in a position where you're trying to maybe pay that down a little quicker?
Oh,
You send a little extra to the mortgage company?
Yeah, it's on a 30-year, and my husband said, you know, we can make extra payments and try to get
Sure.
down to get off like in, 15 or 20 years. That's our goal.
Gotcha. No, that's an admirable goal. Just out of curiosity, how much are you able to set aside to kind of chunk towards that mortgage?
Well, on good months, it's about 1,000. On, other months when other expenses come up, it's more like only about 500.
Okay. Good to know. So, do we have, your cars, are they paid for, or do you have a car payment?
I got a car payment, between our two car payments, probably about 500. And then the notes on them, I think we only have we own two of them, and the other two probably own about 20,000 maybe.
Okay. And I know you're putting a lot towards the house. So, I mean, anything left over to pay extra on the cars, or are you pretty much, chunking that in on the house?
It's mostly focusing on the house, and anything else leftovers getting put in a bank, and then, obviously, and then ultimately our goal is to just either, pay that car off, but we haven't because we don't know if we're going to trade it in. So. Sure.
Anything else that, God forbid, something were to happen, and obviously we don't know the day or the time, but somebody's got to figure out how to pay for. So credit cards, student loans, any other balances hanging around out there?
There's only about 2,000 on the credit cards. We're pretty good with that. I mean, that gets paid off each month. So, but we do have our son who's in college, and we're paying for that. So it's I mean, if you're asking me if we died or I died, what I'd want to make sure if I have his college paid off, then I don't know, my husband does all that. So I think it's probably to make sure that we could have it all paid off. He's got about 2 years left after this year. I don't know, like 40,000 maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you're working hard to pay that off. Paying any extra on that one, or?
No, we just pay that as we go.
Okay. And any other debts that you can think of that we have to kind of include in the calculus here?
No, pretty good about paying things off, except for our mortgage and our cars.
Sure.
But no, just monthly expenses ongoing,
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And I just realized I did something here. I put in the debt amount instead of the payment amount. So let's, okay, there we go. That makes it much easier. Okay. So again, all I'm doing, guys, is just kind of going through the data we're already gathering. I'm just popping this into this FIF form. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure we get her income in for both clients, and what type of income. So as I save this, this goes in, and guess what? Do you feel like your debt is preventing you from contributing to your retirement? So, but again, NEPQ. So Stella, just a quick question here. Do you feel like your debt is preventing you from contributing to your retirement?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Sydney had another way of asking it yesterday, Chris. I loved it. She said, he asked how much easier, I mean, any way to ask, but I mean, that's perfect. I love the example here, but she's like, how much easier would it be for you if your house loan was paid off? How much easier would it be? So
that would be a perfect follow-up to what we just asked there. So yeah, I love that. So Stella, say that again and kind of say it in an NEPQ type approach.
The question or the answer to the question you asked me? Sorry.
The one that so the statement that you just gave me.
Oh, you asked me if my debt was paid off, and I said no, my debt's not paid off. It would be nice if it was. Yeah. So would it be? So do you feel like it's preventing you from contributing to retirement? You said yes, and then that follow-up question I think is an excellent one. So would it be easier? But go ahead and rephrase that for me, or go ahead and re-say that for me. No, it would. I would love to have it would be nice to have our debt paid off. It would help us to save for our retirement. Absolutely. Okay. And then what's the Jeremy Minor question that you were following up with that? Oh, no, that was Sydney. Sydney yesterday in our training she said. Oh, okay. Yeah. I misunderstood where that training was. Okay. But that's a great question. Go ahead and give us that question again though. Well, how much easier would it be for you guys, if your house loan was paid off? Would that make it easier, more comfortable for you guys? Perfect. That's perfect. So then that leads directly into, and again, this is all right here. So Stella, we actually have an entire division solely based on education around debt elimination and our debt-free life program. So they're subject matter experts. They can give you the education and you can do whatever you want with it. But I know you're going to be happy with what you hear, and they've helped so many of our clients. So let's take a look at the calendar and see when they're available to meet. Does that sound like a good plan? Yeah, I'd be curious, at least check it out. So guess what? I've got our very own rock star, Miss Sydney Lee, right here. I pop open. Calendar. Sorry. I love that. Look at that. Look at her. Look at you, Sydney. And next week I get them on the books. Again, the whole point of this exercise, gang, is just I love, when I listen to Nate and I listen to Jeff and talk about all the stuff that they can do and how they can position that. It's fascinating to me because I do kind of geek out on some of the investment stuff, just personally. But the reality is you can easily get, it's either one or two things. It's you can get off in the weeds and overwhelm a client with data, or ourselves get too overwhelmed with the process and just don't do it. And what we're trying to demonstrate here and why we wanted to go through this is to, number one, let you know there is the tool here where all I have to do, and part of my process, whether that be in the appointment itself or whether it be at the end of the appointment where I've collected all the data on my paper and just transfer it over, just simple process of pulling this form up, typing in all the information that I'm already going to have to gather as part of my normal conversation, and
So really, when I say this takes 5 minutes, it really doesn't even take 5 minutes, because again, I'm collecting all the information. As I'm entering this information in, the system is actually helping me out with next steps. And let's say, because sometimes, like when I do this, if I'm entering, this is one thing I'm going to talk to the office about. When I click save, sometimes it goes ahead and pops up the script. Maybe I don't want to do the script right now. I can go ahead and click out of that, fill out the rest of my information. But when I get done, again, I come down to results. I just click the results and it's going to prompt me. So maybe I entered assets and I entered debt. The system's kind of already analyzing what I've been entering. And if it seems to be heavier on the debt side, this is what's going to be popping up. This is the debt-free life question. If I'm heavier on the assets and there's a lot of debt, then it's going to steer me towards the asset question, asking about has your financial advisor talk with you about the gap that you will have at retirement. Now, why do we ask about that? Why do we ask about, does your financial advisor, Stella, what do you think? I'm going to put you on the spot here. Why would we ask about, has your financial advisor talk to you about the gap?
Oh, absolutely. I love the question. And because if they say, oh yeah, I've got a financial advisor, he's all over it, and I'm going to ask them, oh, okay, are you happy with them? And if they tell me yes, honestly, I'm really not going to move forward. People who are married to their financial advisor, they have a relationship, and they'll tell you, and sometimes they'll be like, oh, it's, family member, friend. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I congratulate them. And I help them with, the regular life insurance that they're looking for, and that's it. But it's like my guy, he didn't have anybody. Or they might have somebody, but I'm going to ask them that, are you happy with them? How are you happy with how they're taking care of your assets? And they might be like, well, I mean, I used to be, but I've been losing all kinds of money lately. Then that's a perfect time to just say, oh, I'm really sorry. Well, I can get you a second opinion. You don't have to do anything with it, but I work with a team of experts, and just read off of what Chris did. Chris, I love how you simplified this. Like, it is so simple. Like, we're just talking about it because we're picking it apart and explaining the whys, all the questions surrounding it, why we ask these questions. But like, this is such a simple process. It takes so much weight off of us just following this. Like, it leads us through on how to ask the next question. And like, you don't need to know everything. And I love that, because in the beginning, I met with all kinds of people who had all kinds of assets, but I didn't know how to ask them. I knew what we could help them, but I was fumbling over my words. And, and what I've learned is you don't need to know it all, because we have a team of experts who do, that you can trust to refer to them. And if they ask you questions like, well, what is that? What is that? Are they gonna, will they look at my whole portfolio, or they might ask a question about, well, I don't know, just think of a complicated question. Like, I'm trying to think of maybe something someone's asking.
I think the reality is, those, and not to cut you off, but let me jump in there, because you're bringing up a great point. And so I love what you said. Number one, we got to do what Jeremy Miner says, and that is find out if there's a sale to be made to start with. And you're absolutely right. They've got the best advisor in the world. I love him. I love her. She handles my money. Wow, that's great. That's awesome. I mean, that's rare to find somebody that good. You've done great. Compliment them. The reality is, our mortgage protection leads, probably a lot of our life leads. In fact, it's just society. 95% of the people that we talk to don't even have a financial advisor. So when you ask them, has your financial advisor, check one, talk to you about your gap, check two, because look at, statistically speaking, at age 65, I forget the numbers, of something like 93% of the population will be reliant pretty much on Social Security for their retirement. And the reason is because nobody ever thought enough of them to ask, has your financial advisor talk to you about the gap that you're going to have at retirement. They don't know what they don't know. It's not because, I mean, some of it could be lack of planning or financial discipline. The reality is, if you look at the financial planning industry, it caters to and it goes after the financial elite. Our bread and butter client is middle America. That's who we talk to every day with our mortgage protection leads and our life leads. Those are the people that need help with this very thing, debt-free life and asset planning. I guarantee you, we can shift the needle on those numbers of people who retire and are relying strictly on Social Security if we just go through this process. So what we want to demonstrate, number one, how easy it is. Number two, how much impact you can have on families by just putting it in your process on every meeting that you have. That's what we want the takeaway. And I appreciate what you're saying, Stella, is just, and you're absolutely right. We're trying to make this as simple as possible. As I said to somebody the other day, or maybe part of our managers meeting, that we were kind of setting the calls up for training on this. Guys, fill out a form and get a $20,000 deposit. That was my takeaway from what Andrew Jimenez was sharing. Fill out a form, and it doesn't, maybe it's $1,000 deposit, maybe it's a $200 deposit. But if I fill out a form and get a $200 deposit, am I going to send it back? No, I'm not. And I help the client out. That's the most important thing. I help the client out. But the reality is, if I do this every time, I will come across more $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 deposits than I ever could on my own, trying to become the expert in the financial industry.
Exactly. And can I add real quick that it doesn't just have to come in a form of 401k. You know, last year there was a family that I sat with, and I helped them with mortgage protection. And early on, I love what you said. I know we're getting to the top of the hour, but I love what you said about how talking about overcoming that objection with when they say, you know, I've got all of this money, you know, so how many times have you sat with somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I don't need insurance because I've got 401k, I've got this and that. But most people, if you preface that with, you know, most families don't want to use that to pay off their mortgage. They want it for retirement. 99% of the time, those people smart with their money agree with that. And they're like, oh yeah, they'll just, you know, they understand. It's only 1%, you know, that might, you know, fight you on it, be like, well, I got all this, you know, but people will tell you. And this one couple, she told me they had like 100 and something thousand cash in the bank because it was a death benefit payout from her late mom. And they thought maybe they might, you know, they weren't sure what to do with it. And I asked her, how much interest are you getting on that? Like, think about it. How much interest do the banks give today? She's like, not much. I said, exactly. I said, you know, and then I went into, you know, gosh, you know, I work with a team of experts, you know, that, you know, can show you how, you know, to grow that and keep it, you know, solid for you. I said, I don't know, I can't make any guarantees, but, you know, went in and we made an appointment, and Greg rolled that, and a bunch of the husbands that we didn't even know. He had a bunch of little 401ks here and there, and it ended up almost totaling, you know, like 180,000, I think, in the end. And that was, you know, a nice over $10,000 commission, you know, and that was just for helping them. Now they're getting way more money on that 100,000 cash that gets no interest in the bank. And then all of his straggling 401ks, you know, back then are filling up for a larger growth in their retirement now. So yeah, I just love how simple this is. I love this. I love this so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, the whole point of this demonstration is just, guys, is the tools are there, the process is there, and again, they've designed it to where you click a button and it tells you what's next, you know, whether it be adding more assets, more liabilities, and then at the end, clicking results, and it's going to tell you what's the next step. What's the next question?
One last thing is, don't forget your own friends and family. I recall a couple of years ago sitting on a national call, and there was an agent who said, you know, he was a secret agent. He didn't tell his friends and family what he did. And his uncle rolled over like $500,000 of his 401k, $500,000 literally, into an annuity, you know, got help with a retirement system on. He went out and found somebody else. And the nephew was like, Uncle Bob, I could have, you know, helped you. And he's like, oh, I didn't know. I would have had you help me. I didn't know that you guys did that. So don't be a secret agent. Like, you have friends and family, you know, who right now, you know, if they're retirement age or older, you know, got a, you know, nice 401k, you know, just let them know that, you know, you offer those services, that you can, you work with a team of experts, you know, that can look at it, give them a complimentary, no obligation consultation. You know, if they've got a large mortgage, like, you have so much opportunity all around you. You just got to look for it.
Awesome. Thank you, Stella. Thank you for participating and helping me in this call. Hopefully you've got some, everybody got some value out of that, something that you can plug into your process. Please do plug it into your process. Go play with the form, fill it out, you know, use all kinds of data. Just don't please schedule on anybody's calendar, because we don't need to be sending a bunch of fake appointments to Sydney to do phantom DFLs. But you can see, you can go through the entire process without actually, you know, completing it. So go in, play around with it, kind of understand what it's going to take. Super simple to fill out. And once you get to the, you know, to the level where it's just, you know, you know where everything's at and clicking through. And again, that probably take you 5 or 10 minutes to do that. Be disciplined, just implement it as part of your process. You know, whatever you have to do, if you have to draw yourself an outline, you know, obviously there's a lot of training in Quilty and how to run your appointments. But if you need a post-it note like Stella, you stick it right, a big smack right on the middle of your screen so you don't blow past it. Do whatever you got to do to make sure you hit that every time, guys. That will pay you way more than you will be able to generate on your own. I promise you, guarantee you. So let's take advantage of that process. So, all right, guys, we went a little bit over, but I feel like this was valuable content. We want to make sure we walked you through, especially with all the training that's going on around this right now. So go out there, make it a great week. Thank you all.
Thank you. That was super helpful, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.